And for me, I think they've solidified themselves as actual contenders. Granted, I think they are the Phoenix Suns 2.0, but different. Like Brandon Ingram's the best player and the leader of this team, and because Willie Green comes from Monty Williams, I call him the Suns 2.0. They move the ball and stuff. Similar, obviously, completely different play styles and all that, but the identity of the team, the culture is very similar.
Yeah, I think they haven't been healthy really as a cohesive unit too much, like you were saying. I've been seeing way too much Pelicans fans upset with why did we trade for CJ McCollum? I keep looking at them. What are you guys talking about? I don't know if you have an opinion on that. I know CJ isn't having the most efficient of seasons. Right
It's just
now,
injuries. I'm fine with CJ.
Yeah,
He's
I
the
don't
point
know.
guard they've needed.
I don't know what all the like.
Who would you rather?
Last year they desperately needed CJ McCollum. So
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah, Herb Jones a little in and out, like just a bunch of guys in and out. But then you got guys like Trey Murphy and Larry Nance, Jose.
Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, Jose had 38, but Jonas Valanciunas, top 10 center, probably the most underrated center. We gave Jonas some love earlier in the season. And I've said this, I think they're a top 10 team. And arguably, I think if they're not on the brink of contention, they're in contention as a top 5 team, because this is a team that has the 6th best offense in the NBA last I checked, with Zion Williamson missing a handful of games, Brandon Ingram missing 8 games, CJ McCollum missing 4 games. They're just dominating teams on the offensive end. And Williamson, who's been very good offensively, isn't outright dominating like we thought he would. He's still been good. He's still good. It's just, like I said, I made a video saying Brandon Ingram was the best player on the New Orleans Pelicans, and every single person who commented said that's a fact. The fans know he's the best player. Everyone knows he's the leader. Nothing against Zion. Zion's out there averaging 23.6, 59%, but everyone within the organization, the fan base, this is Brandon Ingram's team. Brandon is that guy. And it's nothing against Zion. Zion's cool with being, it looks like, the second. And Zion has the potential probably to be better. And his defense is improved. Like on the defensive end, they're 3rd in the NBA in defense. And we've talked about this before. To be a championship team, you need to be top 15 in either offense or defense. And then the other one has to be top 10. Right now, they're top 10 in both. That's the recipe, ingredients needed in the recipe for a championship team. And Herb Jones has also missed 6 games, but they force turnovers. They don't get killed at the 3-point line. They have a nonstop motor, and they rebound the ball at a high level. And Willie Hernan-Gomez, Larry Nance, Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels, Jose Alvarado, Najee Marshall are all examples of the depth that this team has. And Willie Green is my Coach of the Year candidate right now.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I think he would be mine too. Double D's been doing a phenomenal job right out of the get-go too. I was so big on Dyson in the draft, but
we both.
Their culture, it's just so fun, man. They were chanting Jose. I don't know, they were just having a lot of fun, and you could tell they like each other, and it's cool to see. I think Brandon Ingram will be the best player. I don't think he has been this year, but it's just been like a nice kind of team effort. And it's not like I know CJ's stats have taken a little bit of a dip, but like, Brandon and Zion and CJ, all 3 of them together, like even on their off nights, they have so much help. They're just good together. It's a very fun team. I know Swaggy was saying they're a contender for sure. They're definitely top 4 in the off season. So
yeah, I think it'll be cool. And this team is built for the playoffs. As I think, as long as they still healthy, they still have Cyro Lewis Jr. That's the other thing, is this is a team that's also built for the trade market, in the buyout market, a team that intends, because they have Devontae Graham's contract. That's a guy who's been kind of played out. They have Devontae Graham and Cyro Lewis Jr., a guy who Kyra, I believe he's going into his 3rd season now. And they have Devontae, who's can kind of push out the lineup. There's also the thought that you'd like to keep Devontae around if CJ were to get hurt, then you can run Devontae and Jose. But then there's the thought, well, you have Dyson Daniels, and you can run instead Dyson and Jose if CJ were to get hurt, as Dyson's a 6'8" point guard. And having Devontae Graham and Cyro Lewis Jr., you have a former first-round pick right there in Cyro Lewis Jr., and you have I believe it's like an $11 million salary, and Devontae Graham combined with the salary of Kyrie Lewis Jr., which I believe gets you up to almost like $14 million. Kyrie's making $4 million and Devontae's making 11.5. So right there, that gets you $14.5 million. And when you're looking at guys who are making $14.5 million, and I'm not saying that they need to make a trade, but they're out here and they're able to look at guys like, if they needed shooting, Doug McDermott, Luke Kennard, obviously Jordan Clarkson's off the market, but Gary Harris. Okay, if they were interested in getting a guy, I think Chris Boucher is off the market, but Kelly Olynyk, another, if they felt like they needed more power forward depth, or a Robert Covington, a Josh Richardson, a Terrence Ross, a Dylan Brooks, are all guys that are on the market right there in that price range where they're actually able to afford those players. And even other guys like Malik Beasley, they could probably get themselves. And Derrick Rose is another if they wanted to go for another, better 6-man-esque point guard. But I think Jose Alvarado's there if they were going to get anybody, be more wing depth. Do you agree? Like that is a move that they could look at, like a Terrence Ross, Dylan Brooks, Josh Richardson, Robert Covington, Kelly Olynyk, Gary Harris, Luke Kennard, Doug McDermott. I think more defense would be their thing, though. Not Doug McDermott, Luke Kennard, but the other guys. Teams, they're positioned well to make a championship move. Like if Norman Powell, they're flexible. Like Norman Powell, $16 million. They could finesse a deal where they could bring Norman Powell in if the Clippers were trying to move on.
Yeah.
Now let's talk. Yeah, it's a good place to be if you're in New Orleans. Let's just hope. I've never liked the Pelicans' like logo or colors or jerseys for the most part. I love the colors of the New Orleans Hornets, and I've always said this. If the Utah Jazz can do a rebrand and change their name, and then New Orleans can reclaim the name New Orleans Jazz and then bring back the New Orleans Hornets colors, but in New Orleans Jazz like branding, that'd be sick.